Weather always unpredictable in the late afternoon in South Florida. About 45 minutes before kickoff, a 20-minute downpour, but this natural grass field holding the water well. A chance of showers later in the day, but it'll be hot and a little humid and sunny now for Mike Smith and the Atlanta Falcons. 5 starters we mentioned lost in a week. He said he's never seen anything like it as a coach in all his years in the league, more than 3 decades.
Well, the thing is that key positions. I mean, you lose your running back, you lose your left tackle, which is so important, a pass rushing defensive end, and Sean Witherspoon, maybe the best player on the defense. Going to be hard to overcome those missing players today.
The Dolphins have won. Not only are they undefeated with their record, Tim, but the coin toss. Joe Philbin has won the coin toss in all 3 games, including today. Each game, he's wanted his defense out there first, deferring, getting the ball to start the second half. So Caleb Sturgis, the rookie kicker from Florida, will kick off, and back to receive for the Falcons, Jaquiz Rogers, who will see a lot of time in the backfield for the injured Steven Jackson along with Jason Snelling. Game 3, 2-0 Miami, 1-1 Atlanta, and it's happening on Fox. 75% of the kickoffs have gone through the back of the end zone around the league this year, so we're starting at the 20-yard line. Matt Ryan leading the Atlanta offense, completing 71% of his passes.
And he uses all of his weapons well. Ball distribution is one of the best assets for Matt Ryan. Lamar Holmes moving over to left tackle from the right side. That'll be a challenge for both of those tackles against all these pass rushers for the Miami Dolphins. They get after it.
The field a little bit slick in the pregame warm-ups during the rain. Roddy White was having trouble holding on to the damp football. He lines up at the top of your screen. Tony Gonzalez was not having any problem holding on to the football. He's there in the slot on 1st and 10 with Rogers, the running back. Time for Rogers for Julio Jones, who hangs on and fights for a first down beyond the 36-yard line. The front 7 of the Dolphins, the stronger part. Some new additions at linebacker, Paul Soliai. Defensive tackle missing in this game, along with corner Dimitri Peterson, who has a couple of interceptions.
Yeah, Cameron Wake rolling again with 2.5 sacks. You talked about those linebackers, very active. Philip Wheeler was everywhere last week against Indianapolis. And then on the back end, Brent Grimes is the former Atlanta Falcon. He's lined up here. I'm curious to see how much they throw his way today.
After a gain of 16, extra tight end in, and Rogers running beyond the 41 up to the 42-yard line. A healthy gain on the ground. The Falcons have run the ball just 30 times in the first 2 games. That's the fewest rush attempts in the league.
And they're going to have to find some balance. I know the trend in this league is pass, 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 and then pass some more. But I'll tell you, the biggest problem with not being able to run the ball is not being able to have the confidence to run it when you need to on the short yardage stuff, and certainly when you want to salt the game away and burn the clock at the end when you've got a lead.
Green, eagle! Green! Hey, green grass! Green grass! Green grass!
Second down 4. It's Jaquiz Rogers. Falls toward a first down. Opening drive for the Falcons. Atlanta comes in after losing a tough road game in New Orleans and then winning last week, holding on against the Rams. It is a first down. The Dolphins come in after road wins at Cleveland and at Indianapolis. From the 47-yard line of Atlanta.
And they've been vulnerable now in their first 2 games. The Miami Dolphins in their run defense, over 4.5 yards a crack. And where you can run at them really is right out here on the edges.
And Jaquiz Rogers lines up as a receiver to the right of Matt Ryan in the slot with Julio Jones flanked on his right. Jason Snelling, the other running back, is on the left side. Pass goes to Julio Jones. He's kept in Falcon territory. Rashad Jones coming up for the safety spot.
If you're going to go empty and you're going to throw those little quick hitters, those screens to the outside, you better get some blocks. I mean, Jeremy Trueblood, the right tackle, was out there and absolutely whiffed on both of the Miami defenders.
Falcons have been a fast starting team. They led 10-0 in game 1. They led 21-0 last week.
And you see out here to the right, I mean, 2 defenders ran right by Jeremy Trueblood.
On second down. Pass pass is caught, but short of the first down. That's Tony Gonzalez's catch. And he has now caught a pass in 198 consecutive games. He's still 76 away from the all-time record, the NFL record held by Jerry Rice.
Here's Tony there, and he is in a one-on-one matchup. Miami has had problems against tight ends here the first couple of weeks. And here, I mean, we've only had a few plays, but the plan seems to be put two guys and double both Julio Jones and Roddy White. That means Tony Gonzalez is going to have one-on-one opportunities all day. He should kill it.
Third down and 4. Pass falling for the first down is Gonzalez. Donnell Ellerbe was covering him. And the drive continues for Atlanta. For Miami on defense, Jordan Cameron of Cleveland had 13 catches in game 1. Fleener of the Colts had 8 catches in game 2. So tight end area, a vulnerable spot. As we see Cameron Wake coming off the field, looks like he's hurting.
No, that's why Atlanta is so good. It's the challenge defensively in the chess match. Who do you double? Because you want to single any of these guys, Julio Jones, Roddy White, they are going to smoke you with a big play.
From the Dolphin 42, Snelling is the back, and he gets the football. Knocked down before he got back to the line of scrimmage. Nolan Carroll from his corner spot. Snelling, who's an all-purpose guy, a career average of about 4.5, but mostly a blocking fullback, and he'll play some halfback today with Steven Jackson out 2 to 4 weeks.
He's got a lot of versatility. I think and I'm a fan of Jason Snelling. What you got to love about him is he's not going to time well when you put him under the stopwatch and go run. This guy's just a ball player. Every opportunity that he has gotten, there's Steven Jackson there. Jason Snelling has made some nice plays for these Falcons.
Derek Shelby is in for Wake. He has 2 sacks this year already on the defensive line on 2nd and 10.
Watch out for Harry Douglas right there.
Middle of the field, a little behind, but hauled in. Again, Gonzalez, his 3rd catch on this drive.
And they're just going to keep feeding Tony Gonzalez. One-on-one here with Phillip Wheeler. There's a safety on the back end. You see right there, and Rashad Jones to come help. But Tony is a body player. And I think the thing that's so great about him at 37 years old is he said, look, I'm not cocky, but I get a one-on-one matchup. I'm going to bet on myself. And it's rare, Chris, you get a 37-year-old guy that can still win physically. He uses his body and gets it done.
He's only missed 2 games in 17 years in the NFL.
False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Ron Winter, our referee. The call on Jeremy Trueblood, forced to start because of the knee and foot injury to Sam Baker.
Joe Philbin told us on Friday, the head coach there, that a fast start is critical for this team today. Look, it's hard against Atlanta with that offense. They're unbelievably fast starting. My whole thing for this Miami defense is weather this early storm and you'll be okay.
From the 36 of Miami, Matt Ryan is 5 out of 5. Pressure coming, and incomplete. He got knocked down by Rashad Jones on a safety blitz.
Rashad Jones right here, unblocked, right off the edge. You see the whole protection turned to the right with the center and the offensive line. Typically, that means the running back's got to turn to the left to clean up the backside and get anybody coming off the edge. Snelling turned right with the line, and Jones comes unblocks, and it's a nice hit on Matt Ryan.
And Tony Gonzalez checks back in. He's at the bottom of your screen. 10th play of the drive on 2nd and 15. Snelling has it in the middle of the field. Jason Snelling inside the 25 of Miami, fighting his way down to the 23-yard line.
Well, you know, you're against a good pass rushing defense, and Miami's certainly that. We're going to see 5 screens in this game, and it is timed up perfectly. And if you can either get the middle linebacker blocked or shake him down with a move like we just saw there from Snelling, you're going to have success. Nice play.
Now 3rd and 1, so short yardage. Does Atlanta run it here?
See what kind of faith they really have in that run game.
Julio Jones in motion. Ryan is going to throw it. And what a catch, showing great hands again. Gonzalez is 4th of the game. Colomisi was right with him, but it's a first down for the Falcons.
Clearly they don't have a lot of confidence in the run game, and they go to Tony Gonzalez there. It looks like he maybe got nicked here. He's going to come across the formation, pretend he's blocking, leak out, good coverage, but so strong hands. Tony Gonzalez, he's done it for 17 years, plucking the ball out of the air.
Well, we didn't jinx him, talking about missing only 2 games in 17 years. He said the last 5 years he's had to bring it up a notch when it comes to working out. As Rodgers gets the pitch from the 18 of Miami, fights hard to get down to the 11-yard line. Looked like Gonzalez may have hit the turf with his head.
See here as he goes down, Koemisi tackling him from behind. There's the arm, and yeah, he pounded the bird on that side of the helmet pretty hard.
No concussion procedure going on over on the sideline. The league has medical attention prepared. So Harry Douglas and Drew Davis check in on 2nd and 3 as receiver, but they give to Rodgers at running back.
And you can see the attack and the run game so far for Atlanta here, and it's what you see on tape when you watch Miami's defenses. It's on the edges. Even without Paul Soliai in the middle, the defensive tackle, Chris, who's out today, they still got Jared Odrick. They still got Randy Starks. They got those 2 good inside linebackers. Their soft spot is out on the flanks.
It is a first down from the 7, 1st and goal Atlanta. They've taken the opening drive and chewed up almost 9 minutes of time. 5 defensive backs in for the Dolphins. Pitch to Jason Snelling. Spins and he's in for a Falcon touchdown. A little throwing, a little running, and Atlanta scores the first time they get the football.
I told you about Jason Snelling. Given opportunity, the guy's going to make you pay. Very good job up front on the shovel pass, getting a double team, knocking guys down. Another O-lineman getting out of the way in front of Snelling. As I said, Miami's got to psychologically, Chris, weather this early storm. They're not the first team that Atlanta's come right out on the first drive and drove down the field and gotten points.
On to try the extra point, Matt Bryant. And it is 7-0 Atlanta with 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. 14 plays, 80 yards, and Jason Snelling smells the end zone.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Tim Ryan, Chris Myers here in South Florida, and with the Texans losing today, Joe Philbin's team, one of only 7 unbeaten teams. That's less than a fourth of the league here at the 3rd game of the season.
I'll tell you what's a wild number, and look, 2-0 on the road. They won 2 games all of last year and 8 opportunities. But you go 3-0, you start the season 3-0, you got a 75% chance of making the playoffs.
But trailing here, as Marcus Thigpen will down it on the Bosher kickoff. So Miami will take over on offense from the 20-yard line, and we'll get a look at 2nd-year quarterback Ryan Tannehill after Atlanta scored on its opening drive.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
From the 20-yard line, Tannehill, who's won 4 of his last 5 starts, going back to last year. Hands off to Lamar Miller, who may lose half a yard. He has Mike Wallace to get the ball to, who he did quite a bit last week. And Joe Philbin says Tannehill is a guy who's now more comfortable in his own skin.
Man, so are those receivers, and they're cross-trained in all the positions. They move around everywhere, tough to game plan for. Look, I think you look at this offensive line, you look at the size of the ends and the backup players for the Atlanta Falcons. I think Ryan Tannehill and his coaches, both former offensive line coaches, Mike Sherman and Joe Philbin, are going to try to pound this running game today against this Atlanta defense.
Lamar Miller in the slot to the right of Tannehill as a receiver. Across the middle, pass is complete to Charles Clay. Stopped short of the 28-yard line, and he has emerged from the tight end position. They were devastated when Dustin Keller went down with a preseason injury.
This guy may be better in the long run. You look at Charles Clay, and I think the best anonymous player that really nobody knows anything about. His versatility is unbelievable in this offense. Tight end, H-back, fullback, running back. He'll line up as a wide receiver. This guy's a good player.
On 3rd and 2, 4 wide receivers. Tannehill with time, and it goes down. Ball comes out. He fumbled as he was sacked. OCU Manura got to him. And the referee official ruling is Dolphins retain possession of the football at the moment.
OC's going to go upfield, and then just watch him come back inside on a stunt game with Jonathan Babineau. And Ryan Tannehill he has no pocket awareness that was happening with OCU Manura, who once again, when he gets there, he knocks it out better than anybody.
Miami fortunate to get that football back. And now they are forced to punt on 4th down. It's the 3rd sack of the season for Atlanta, and the 10th time that Tannehill has been sacked this year already.
Man, it's hot, and defensively they got some issues on the back end with some players sitting. It's not what the defense needed, was a 3 and out going right back on the field.
Back to receive for Atlanta, Harry Douglas. Douglas, here comes a flag as Douglas goes down at the 46-yard line. The flag inside the 30 of Atlanta. A 46-yard punt. Douglas danced around for a 23-yard return. Miami went through the entire game last week without a penalty. First time they did that in 15 years. Atlanta last season was the fewest penalized team.
During the return, the illegal block in the back. Number 30, the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Second penalty on the Falcons in this game. Josh Vaughn is called for the infraction. It'll back up the Falcons, but their defense taking an early stand against Tannehill in Miami.
This game is sponsored by the 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost. By KFC, the official sponsor of Couchgating. KFC plus football equals Couchgating. And by Gatorade. Gatorade knows it all begins within. Win from within.
Matt Ryan's 5th touchdown pass of the season has Atlanta leading in the Dolphins home opener 7-0 from the 24-yard line on first down. That's Ronnie White planted at the 29-yard line. Cameron Wake back in on defense for the Dolphins to help out. He's got 2.5 sacks this year.
Yeah, and I'll say this, that defensive line, in particular with the 4-man rush, they got to be on their game today. And you got to get Matt Ryan uncomfortable. We know that. But you really can't afford to blitz and send a 5th and 6th guy consistently, because it's just going to weaken your coverage. And with all these stars out here at wide receiver, you can't hold up. That 4-man rush has got to get home.
Second down 4. Jaquiz Rogers short of the first down up to the 34-yard line. That catch by Ronnie White, 103rd consecutive game for him with a catch. That ties the Atlanta Falcon team record. Alfred Jenkins for most consecutive games with a reception. And Ronnie White says that ankle is feeling better and better. And they did get the first down, the spot just beyond the 34.
It's amazing. People forget, because he hasn't done much, Ronnie White, with the 5 receptions in the first 2 games. I was talking to him before the game. I said it's easy for people to forget how good you really are. Said that ankle is feeling better. Expects to have a nice game.
Extra tight end in. Rodgers on first down, trying to find running room, and that time the Dolphins didn't give him much. Philip Wheeler, one of the free agent linebacker additions, along with Donnell Ellerbe, that have helped improve this defense on the stop.
I don't know, when you look at Wheeler, he was a monster last week against Indianapolis, and Ellerbe, who was great in the Super Bowl and a very good player for Baltimore. I'm still not convinced they got better with Dansby and Kevin Burnett being shown the door, but they certainly got younger with these 2 cats they brought in to play linebacker. And they love getting up here and challenging the line of scrimmage, getting in those A-gaps in between the guard and the center.
Tony Gonzalez, one-on-one, top of your screen. Matt Ryan the other way to Ronnie White, who has a first down up near the 48-yard line of Atlanta.
It's just pitch and catch for Matt Ryan, who is so good, Chris, from the neck up, and his eyes and his perception and how he sees everything. He sees these backers up here. He knows he's going to try to get out and get on Ronnie White, who's just running a little stop route for a nice game.
We sat with him at the production meeting. He came in, he was smiling, he was energetic, he was almost hyper. Despite the injuries, he seemed to be very, very positive about the approach to the game plan in this game.
No, he said their mindset hasn't changed at all. They all believe, despite those injuries, this is still their year.
Jason Snelly, who has the touchdown right at midfield. Ellerby in to make the tackle. Ellerby who played so well for the Ravens when Ray Lewis was out.
No, he was great in the Super Bowl. And one thing this guy can do is he can sniff out a running play and a power play. Watch him here. The guard's going to pull around. Watch him shoot his gun. Go right through the blocker, Jeremy Trueblood, and get in the running lane for about a 2-yard gain. That's well done.
2nd down 7 from midfield. Matt Ryan is 10 out of 11. First quarter winding down.
You watch. He's going to start attacking that slot on Jimmy Wilson here in short order.
He fakes the handoff. Floats one, and almost a one-handed catch by Drew Davis, the backup receiver.
Who would they go after? Jimmy Wilson.
Comes in after Ronnie White. It'll be 3rd down. Dolphin defense an important test with 35 seconds remaining. You can see Matt Ryan. It's a little noisier here than it has been in recent years after 4 losing seasons. Dolphins off to a fast start, but need to cool off Atlanta.
Right on your cue. Hear that crowd ignite?
Pass is caught by Julio Jones and powers his way for what looks to be a first down. He's known for speed, not a lot of strength, but he showed some there.
He's got a complete game. He runs away from guys. He's got short area quickness, and he can drag guys at 220 pounds. There's 4 Miami defenders on him, and he carries them about 4 yards for the first down. Matt Ryan surveying the field. Now watch this. There's 1 guy, 2 guys, 3 guys. There's the 4th guy. Vernon doesn't come in and wrap, and Julio Jones uses that strength and just pushes to move the chains.
That is the end of the opening quarter. Matt Ryan of the Falcons have a 7-0 lead. They have the football here in South Florida. Cameron Wake, his left knee bothering him, out for the moment. Matt Ryan gives to Rodgers, who gives that extra effort and looked like he was stopped for no gain. Gets down inside the 38-yard line of the Dolphins.
Well, the first quarter heavily favored to the Atlanta Falcons in play opportunities and time of possession. You can't beat Atlanta with 3 and outs, certainly, and giving up long drives on defense, because they are going to methodically just pick you apart and make it a long day.
The Dolphins are going to have to put some kind of pressure on Matt Ryan. He could pick apart any defense if you give him time. And now 2nd down and 6. That's what he's been doing this afternoon.
Go, Eagle!
Okay.
Go, Eagle! 59 tonight. Express. Let him go!
Jaquiz Rodgers to get down to the 34-yard line of Miami.
And you can see Matt Ryan's coming to the line of scrimmage. He's getting a big snapshot of what Miami's doing defensively. And he sees a deep safety and another one, semi-deep. He's just going to turn and hand off the football.
An effective running game so far for the Falcons on now 3rd and 1. They threw the last time in that short yardage situation. At the 33 of Miami.
And Matt Ryan wants that play clock reset. See the official.
22 seconds.
And it was ticking down, so you just heard Ron Winter. They're going to bump it back up. He's got time to call this play.
Now it's humid after the weather, but the Falcons, they play indoors. This is their first outdoor game of the year, but they train outdoors in the heat and humidity of Georgia.
Let's see the Lord.
He's throwing again on 3rd and short, but right there to knock down Rodgers and keep him from getting a first down was Philip Wheeler.
Well, remember I told you earlier on the screen that Jaquiz Rodgers had success on, that you either got to block the inside linebacker or you got to make a miss. Nobody gets Philip Wheeler right here. And he slips right under the block, a blade lock, and gets a huge tackle to force the 4th down.
And that stop, it went from a 51-yard field goal to about a 50. This will be 53 where they mark it for Matt Bryant. Actually 52 officially with Bosher the holder. The kick. And Atlanta adds to its lead from 52 yards. 38-year-old Matt Ryan gives the Falcons a 10-0 advantage.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows Phone. Meet the new Windows Phone, the smartphone reinvented around you. By Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by the U.S. Postal Service.
And Cameron Wake, who has been one of the top sackers in the NFL, putting pressure on quarterbacks, bothered by a left knee today, in and out of the lineup, giving Matt Ryan more room. 2 possessions for the Falcons. They've scored each time. Now Miami chasing New England. The Patriots won to go 3-0. Falcons chasing the Saints, who beat Arizona. They're 3-0 in their division. Joe Philbin looking for some offense.
Well, and a huge opportunity for them too. I mean, long way to go. If they can win this game, I'm telling you, the buzz will really start getting cranked up for these Miami Dolphins.
Ryan Tannehill will lead the offense again from the 20-yard line. He was sacked last time by Osi Umenyiora, and the only touchdown of the game so far, this Ryan to Snelling. Ryan Tannehill from the 20-yard line. The Dolphins have only run 3 offensive plays, 24 for Atlanta. And they're running it on first down to Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller, he's in Falcon territory. There are no flags. All the way down to the 31-yard line of Atlanta.
Watching these guys on tape, I knew this run game was close. Quality blocks up front. Watch John Jerry on the linebacker, Akeem Dent. I mean, he gets him pushed out of the way. Pouncey gets his block, his defender, the defensive tackle, going sideways. And that's Lamar Miller at his finest, and why he was drafted. Where he was drafted is that guy is a downhill vision, one-cut, smash you in the face runner, well blocked up front.
A 49-yard run. Tannehill fakes to him, throws sideline, and over there was Asante Samuel. Pass intended for Wallace. Samuel has 50 career interceptions, and he's from Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, and of course has been bothered by a thigh injury but wanted to go in this game.
Here's that big run again with Lamar Miller, and watch Pouncey and watch Jerry with the key blocks. Pouncey's going to push Peters sideways right there. Look at that block. And then, of course, John Jerry comes off and seals the linebacker. A lot of daylight for Lamar Miller.
There goes Miller, and down to the 30, where it'll bring up third down. Jonathan Babineau in on the tackle. Fast starts, nothing new for Atlanta this season. It's holding out at the end of the game. And the Dolphins, whose defense has not allowed a touchdown in the second half of either of their first 2, is trying to cut into Atlanta's 10-0 lead.
And the defense is getting just what the doctor ordered, which is rest. This offense being able to control it and get a few plays stacked on top of each other.
Third down and 9. Daniel Thomas hit it running back.
Mike Wallace one-on-one at the top.
Pass is caught. Brandon Gibson, the third receiver.
You got the receivers that are really stacked on top of each other to the left. It ends up being man coverage when they get to the top end of their route, and McLean simply can't stay with Brandon Gibson. You know, I'm shocked at how well Brandon Gibson has played as an inside receiver. He was never that with the St. Louis Rams. He's making a lot of plays for the Dolphins between the numbers.
19-yard gain, 1st and 10 from the 11. Thomas carries. An extra effort, gets down to the 5-yard line.
And this is where Miami really needs to do their thing. We showed where Tannehill has improved in a lot of areas, the quarterback rating, the third down stuff. Certainly the passing numbers better this year, but it's the red zone that has been a big improvement. As you see there, 4 of 5. You go against a powerhouse like Atlanta, you get opportunities like this. You got to be able to punch in touchdowns, not field goals.
Second down 4. They can get a first down before a touchdown. Hartline in the backfield, and a timeout called for. It'll be the Dolphins first, so they'll have 2 remaining here in the second quarter.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet. Check out the all-new Chevy Silverado at the Silverado versus All event.
From the 5-yard line, second down, and extra lineman in for the Dolphins.
Well, I think if you're Atlanta, you're going to be thinking run the whole way here. You take a peek at what they've got out there. It's just the pro set. You got 2 running backs, you got a tight end, and the 2 receivers stacked out to the right. See how much Miami really believes in their run game.
Go, go.
Daniel Thomas the carry. Daniel Thomas fighting to get into the end zone. Touchdown Dolphins.
Boy, what a nice block by Jonathan Martin. And Tyler Klutz, the fullback, leads the way up in there. But watch Jonathan Martin, who starts to go this way and realizes that the guy's got him out leverage. And look at him just tactfully hang on just enough on Babineau that he can't get off and wrap up the powerful Daniel Thomas.
Caleb Sturgis for the extra point. And the Dolphins are within 3. That's the way to answer Atlanta. An 80-yard drive covering nearly 3 minutes. Thomas with his second touchdown rushing of the season. And we'll have more from South Florida in a moment. After last week's stunning showdown between 2 of the house's top fighters, the tension between Team Rousey and Team Tate spilling over into the locker room.
Oh, it's real now.
It is the new best rivalry in sports. An all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter Wednesday on Fox Sports 1. And if you don't have Fox Sports 1, you can find it by going to foxsports1.com. They'll tell you where you can get it on your television set. Well,
I love that show. I don't miss it. My daughter doesn't miss it. And it's high drama. Believe me, that tension's real.
A little tension and drama here. The balance of the speed of Lamar Miller and then the tough running of Thomas. And it has shifted the momentum here, even though the Dolphins trail by 3.
Well, and the Dolphins defense got a rest. And as I said in the beginning of the game, I think the ambition is going to be to pound that running game. Joe Philbin and Mike Sherman, the offensive coordinator, their mentality is control the line of scrimmage. They did that drive with 4 runs.
Caleb Sturgis sets the Falcons up at the 20-yard line with that kickoff that goes through the end zone. Matt Ryan, he's 12 out of 14 with a touchdown already. We're going to get a look at him in just a moment. We welcome you back here on the NFL on Fox. Cameron Wake continued to be bothered by that left knee, so he's not in there. Derek Shelby has played well, second-year player from Utah, number 79 on that Dolphin defensive line.
I'll tell you what it does, though. It makes it harder for Kevin Coyle trying to predict where the protections are going to go, because most of the time they go by the way of Cameron Wake.
Jason Snelling with running room up across the 26-yard line. He has the touchdown for Atlanta. Let's check in down on the field with Jennifer Hale. Jennifer?
Well, Chris, you can sure feel the effects of that rainstorm that happened pregame. It's getting quite humid down here. 70% humidity forecasted, but with this wet field, that sun is creating a sauna-like effect. You can feel it just rising up at your feet. Dolphins linebacker Jason Tresnick just sucked on some oxygen, trying to get himself going and defeat this humidity, Chris.
All right, thank you, Jen. Snelling remains in, and Wake is now questionable with that knee. We may not see him the rest of the day. It's another handoff to Snelling, who has an Atlanta first down. Last 2 possessions, the Falcons scored. Touchdown opening drive and then a field goal. Of course, Tony Gonzalez already has 4 catches.
Well, they've got to get pressure, Miami, somehow on Matt Ryan when he drops back to pass. It's really that simple, and it's hard to do it by sending extra people because it weakens your coverage. I mean, he's smoking hot at 12 of 14, and he is such a rhythm thrower. And I mean, everything coming out on time, you've got to get pressure on those guys, get them uncomfortable, and disrupt that timing.
Full ball, full ball.
From the 33, it's Snelling, who has plenty of room. Jason Snelling near midfield with another Atlanta first down. And who would have thunk of the team that ran it the least coming in is pushing around this Dolphin defense on the ground.
And they get a nice block by the fullback. Watch the kick-out block by DeMarco. And they catch Miami on a stunt. Jared Odrick and the rest of the D linemen are stunting inside. You see the linebacker going to the outside. He gets blocked by the fullback, and Snelling's off to the races.
A 17-yard gain, first down from midfield. Snelling. I don't know if the Dolphins were expecting this, but they can't stop it.
Well, they're moving their front around. I don't think they have to do that. They're stunning the front, and Jared Odrick really stunted himself right out of an opportunity to make a big play, and he came inside and beat the offensive lineman, but got in the backfield, couldn't redirect, and Snelling picks up another 7 or 8 yards.
You're missing Paul Soliai, but don't tell the Falcons about injuries to players. Soliai, a guy at 350, can clog up the middle.
Yeah, I don't think Miami defensively, they need to stunt their front and move them around. I mean, I really believe they could just line up in the traditional alignments and beat that offensive line one-on-one at the point of attack.
Jaquiz Rogers has a first down and is spun down around the 37-yard line by Coamisi. The Falcons have controlled the football. They've held the ball for more than 17 minutes. Miami has had it only 5. And the Dolphin defense has yet to force Atlanta to punt. Now at the 37 of the Dolphins.
And you know Matt Ryan, they're setting this up for a big bomb in the play action.
Julio Jones slips off the field. He's not in on 1st and 10 from the 37.
And they just may take a shot right here. Matt Ryan is trying to get it deep.
They're going to run it again. And look at Rodgers dancing his way down to the 31. Back in field goal range. And playing keep away from Miami's offense.
And one thing you need to do if you're going to run the ball is you got to have a tight end that can block. And Tony Gonzalez, certainly more than willing to block, had a nice, really nice block there on Derek Shelby that opened the lane up on the inside.
They've already tried, Tim, 16 rush attempts. That's more than their average through the first 2 games. I know it's an early sample, but it just tells you they think they can run against this Dolphin team, and they're doing it. Even without Steven Jackson. Julio Jones. First down inside the 25. Brett Grimes, a former teammate of Julio Jones, ran him out of bounds.
It's a nice play call by Dirk Cutter, who they got the extra offensive lineman out there in Joe Howley, and he's out in the front of that little bunch set with the players all clustered up to the right. Miami's thinking run game the whole way, going that way, and they bring Julio Jones back against the grain on a little reverse.
We talked about the aerial show that Matt Ryan runs, and that's what the first drive was. This has been run.
It's all good, and it's all setting Miami up for a big shot in the play action game.
And they run again. Jaquiz Rogers spins. There's a flag down as he goes down to the 11-yard line. Flag back at the 25.
Yeah, I think they may get Garrett Reynolds here, the offensive lineman, for a hold on the linebacker.
Holding. Offense number 42. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Son Patrick DeMarco, the fullback, called up from the practice squad after they had an injury to that area.
And you see right there, he's holding Coamisi. He's got him by the front side and then grabbing the back of his shoulder pad. And when it's near the ball and the guy can't disengage, that being Coamisi, to get to the ball carrier right in the line of sight for the referees, they call it every time.
You know, Matt Ryan had been hit 25% of the time in the first few games. The Dolphins had 9 sacks, but he hasn't been hassled at all today. From the 34-yard line on 1st and 20.
And that's saying a lot since Sam Baker, their left tackle, is not playing in this game.
Running backs lined up as receivers inside for Ryan. He goes outside to Julio Jones. Run out of bounds over there near the 25-yard line. Nolan Carroll was the guy you thought Atlanta might work on.
Well, and that's just too easy. I mean, you're going to play off coverage, and you're not getting pressure on a rhythm thrower like Matt Ryan. He's just going to hit that back foot. He knows where he's going with the ball. He unloads it on time. It's hard to defend that.
A little bit of a hurry up to the line. Let's see if he gets the quick snap from the gun. Second and 11. Ryan from the pocket. Completes down to the 10-yard line. Julio Jones.
You're just not going to fool Matt Ryan in terms of what you show him. And they have 2 defenders on the inside trying to show that they may double Julio Jones, and they don't. And he's one-on-one on Nolan Carroll, and he just runs a square in for an easy completion.
And a 14-yard pickup, Tim, from the 11-yard line of Miami. Falcons continue to move with a fresh set of downs. Julio Jones splits out to the left, top of your screen. Harry Douglas checks in the game at the bottom of your screen. Jason Snelling carries, is met hard and knocked down. Randy Starks.
And that's what I'm talking about, just playing it straight up. And being a defensive lineman, there's no trickeration going on here in terms of stunting and moving and trying to fool guys. I mean, look at him just press. Cons the center and just chuck him to the side. That's beautiful. That's clinic defensive line play. Kevin Coyle does not need to move his guys around. Play straight up. I think they'll have more success.
On second down. Ryan, Harry Douglas. And Douglas gets knocked down inside the 3-yard line. Clock continuing to run. Just over 3 minutes to go. And Atlanta has really run the ball well.
And what does that do? It keeps your defense off balance. I mean, you don't know what to expect. I'm sure the mindset coming in, and you look there, the first 2 games, 62 yards, 97 already today, and here we're facing a 3rd and 1. But if you don't know what to expect defensively, and I'm sure Miami coming in thought they'd see 35-40 passes, got a long way to go, but Atlanta has changed up the plan and been pounding the football.
Jason Snelling. No. Rashad Jones got there. He was kept out of the end zone, but did he get the first down? Didn't look like it.
Miami wasn't even set really and ready to go. That guy's moving around. Hard to see from that angle.
We may get a measurement here, Tim. It's close enough. Falcons have 3 timeouts. Miami with 2. Remember, that line is superimposed. It's not official.
Big stop.
4th down. Yeah, that was the Dolphin defense digging in. Is Mike Smith going to go for it with a 3-point lead on the road? Matt Bryant is coming out, so Mike Smith answers that question.
And anytime you can get a running back in a short yardage situation to start moving sideways, there's too much speed on that defense, led by Deion Jordan, the number 3 overall pick. It'll be hard for him to get that first down.
A big stop and a big difference between a field goal try and a touchdown. Already, Matt Bryant has made a 52-yarder in this game, his 11th career over 50. This will be from 20 yards if they indeed kick it with Matt Bosher, the holder. Atlanta with another impressive drive, but stalled after a touchdown on their opening drive. The last 2 have ended in 3, and they have a 6-point lead. Those are the stars Tim Ryan talked about that have to hold up with all of the injuries. And Atlanta with a 13-7 lead on the road. 2-minute warning coming up. Dolphins will get a chance with just 2 timeouts. And Ryan Tannehill, who so far in this game has only attempted 3 passes. Atlanta, when you look at their 3 drives, they held the ball for nearly 9 minutes, then 6 minutes, then 8 minutes. Each time
you compound that with the heat and the humidity and lack of depth now with Cameron Wake's injury. How much gas will Miami really have in the tank in the 4th quarter?
Bosher's kick to Thigpen. He's going to run it out. Here goes Marcus Thigpen. Knocked out at the 12-yard line. Great special teams play by the Falcons. Kevin Cohn bottling up Tannehill. He'll start from his own 12-yard line with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, at Atlanta leading by 6. Sean Witherspoon, Troy Bierman out for the Falcon defense, but so far they've held Miami to just 7 points, and now Tannehill and the Dolphins backed up at their own 12.
Well, their offense has been their best defense, keeping these guys off the field. I think Miami has found something, though, with their run game.
Tannehill's pass and complete. Mike Wallace with a first down just up to the 24-yard line. They're in a hurry up as they get to the line. Remember, only 2 timeouts for Miami. A 12-yard gain.
That's a twig, Richie. 52.
Pass was caught as Brandon Gibson, who gets up near the 30-yard line. It'll bring up second down.
Nice job there from Ryan Tannehill, letting that route develop. He saw the blitz coming off his right side, the left side of the defense. They brought McLean, the slot defender, and Tannehill patient enough just to hang in there and let the play develop. That internal clock, though, he's got to be aware of that going on and not give up a big sack here.
On 2nd and 4, he's going to run. He hadn't done much of that this year, but he gets a first down up to the 38-yard line and is going to use a timeout. Miami will have one left.
And he needs to do more of that, Chris. I think when you look at Ryan Tannehill, to me, he's an outstanding athlete. When you saw that when he was at Texas A&M with everything that he did as a wide receiver, has not run much in the first 2 games. When it gets cloudy like that, he just needs to take off and run because they have given up 10 sacks this year. A third of those, in my opinion, and I think Ryan Tannehill would agree, they were on him, holding the ball too long and not being aware of that clock going off in his head.
Well, you said Atlanta's offense has been a great defense. The Dolphins haven't had many opportunities because of the time of possession. One of the unbeaten teams, only 7 remain. That's at this point of the season. That means 3/4 of the teams have already lost around the league, and you'll see all the highlights with the Visa halftime report coming up. The Patriots and the Saints stay unbeaten. The Texans fall from the ranks of the undefeated. Miami trying to go 3-0 for the first time since 2002. From the 38-yard line on first down. He's going to dump it off to Daniel Thomas, who makes a nice move. He's in Falcon territory.
Oh, that was wicked.
At the 47-yard line. He's not known for the moves of Lamar Miller. That's Daniel Thomas showing off.
Well, Robert McLean knows about those moves now. He just absolutely shook him down.
16-yard gain, clock continuing to run, under 38 to play. One timeout Miami, pass to Hartline, who fights to get knocked down inside the 40.
They're wasting too much time. They either got to get that last timeout called or get the ball on the ground.
You said to get a field goal unit out there, you need a certain amount of time. With one timeout, they can preserve that. Sideline throw. He hauled it in. That's Hartline showing good feet and good hands. 10 seconds remaining. Now, do you just go ahead and kick it?
No, you got a timeout left. You can take a shot or 2 at the end zone. If you get stopped short of the end zone, you can use that final timeout.
Rookie kicker Caleb Sturgis, drafted out of Florida in the 5th round. He's been money, knocked Dan Carpenter out of a job.
Yeah, the worst thing here is a turnover, obviously, or a sack, which keeps that clock running and pushes him back.
Falcons drop into a deep coverage. Tannehill's throw, end zone, incomplete. I should say inside the 5. Wallace was trying to get to the end zone.
Yeah, now
William Moore was on him.
That ball just came out late, and William Moore saw it and made a break on the ball. And
looked like Wallace was open on the cut.
He was open early, but as I said, Matt Ryan held the ball too long and didn't unload it. Gave William Moore an opportunity to get over there and get the pass breakup.
A 46-yard field goal try for Sturgis, who is 4 for 4 in his professional career. And he gets the Dolphins to within 3. An impressive drive from their own 12-yard line with 2 minutes to go. Dolphins get 3 and trail at the break. They'll get the football to start the second half. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for the Visa halftime report. We welcome you back here in South Florida. Matt Ryan on the Falcons with a 3-point lead, getting ready to kick off to the Dolphins here to start the 3rd quarter. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Matt Ryan, 15 out of 17. He has the touchdown pass.
He hasn't been on the ground yet.
Ryan Tannehill is 7 out of 9. This is a fast-moving first half.
Well, I don't think we expected Atlanta to come out and run the ball with the success that they've have had, certainly in the 2nd quarter. Falcons to Snelling and Jacquizz Rodgers.
Falcons have run for 97 yards in this game. Matt Bosher kicks off, and Marcus Thigpen brings it out and gets up to the 25-yard line. Well, the Dolphins trying to stay undefeated. Really, you think the Falcons may be a completed pass away from being undefeated as well, considering the depleted injuries. They've held up well. But what do you expect from Tannehill and this offense trailing by 3, what they're going to do here?
Well, I think Miami figured it out on that scoring drive that they could run the ball on these Atlanta Falcons. And they're to the tune. They've only had 6 runs, but they're over 11 yards per carry. I think they love their matchup at the line of scrimmage, and I think we're going to see more of it here in the second half from their offensive line and their running game.
Go, go!
Lamar Miller had the big run to set up the touchdown, gets the carry from the 26-yard line. Let's get out of the field with Jennifer Hale. Jennifer?
Well, Chris, Tim took the words right out of Coach Philbin's mouth. He told me he's surprised how much success Atlanta has had running the ball, and that was his main message at halftime to this Dolphins team. Stop the run, and they may very well have to do it without Cameron Wake, so we may see a lot more of Deion Jordan. Now, over for the Falcons, Coach Mike Smith told me he wants to be more committed to the run this half. Should the Dolphins defense be able to allow them that opportunity? Chris?
Thanks, Jen. Coach Philbin saying we're not the team that wants to go back and throw it 50 times a game. Tannehill is in trouble. The ball is out. And the Falcons have it.
Yeah, who else? Osi Umenyiora.
He caused the fumble. Recovering for Atlanta is Pere Jerry, whose brother
that's
John
awful.
Jerry is on the Dolphin offensive line.
Awful by this guy, the rookie Deion Sims on Osi Umenyiora. You got to bootleg. You got to sustain your block. He gives him a one-timer. Didn't even look like Sims was aware that Osi Umenyiora was going to come off the edge. Osi still so quick little arm over, and once again, when he gets there, better than anybody, he knocks the ball out and takes it away from the quarterback.
Had his first sack of the season in the first half. Lived in Atlanta the last 14 years, even when he played with the Giants. And he has what the Falcons want. A couple of Super Bowl rings from those New York years.
And
so now
the field, what a gift.
A big turnover. First turnover of the game from the 12-yard line of Miami. Matt Ryan sets to throw, and incomplete for Rodgers. And Tannehill, Mike Sherman, the offensive coordinator, was saying that he had great poise in the pocket. Sometimes he's too poised, and that means he holds the ball too long, doesn't get out or know when to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, I talked about that earlier, that a third of the sacks this year and now 11 have been on Ryan Tannehill. That one was not. Now, the big thing is you've got to be able to secure that ball when you know people are wrapping you up. He's been sacked twice today, and both times the football has come out.
Rodgers the back on 2nd and 10 from the Dolphin 12. Matt Ryan underneath to Rodgers, who puts a move on, and the extra effort gets him down inside the 4-yard line. He is making the first defender miss.
And Tony Gonzalez is such a magnet, especially down in the red zone. And linebackers are going to go with Tony Gonzalez. I want you to watch Wheeler. He's going to be aware, and he's going to start to leak that way. And it just opens it up for Jacquizz Rodgers right in the middle of the field. See, Wheeler had no reason to go over there with Tony Gonzalez, but Tony is such a weapon down in the red zone. I think subconsciously you do it, and it opens windows for other guys as it did for Rodgers.
3rd and 2, Rodgers as a receiver now. Ryan floats one for the end zone. Knocked away, incomplete. Here comes a flag. Roddy White over there, covered by Nolan Carroll.
Well, Nolan Carroll had his left arm really wrapped around Roddy White as he was going up for that pass.
Pass interference. Defense number 28. Because the foul occurred in the end zone, the ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
And just watch the left arm of Nolan Carroll wrapped around. Hard to see if there was any effect there, but yeah, he basically looked like he had armbarred Roddy White. Roddy couldn't get his right arm up and in the catch zone.
That is the first Dolphin penalty in a game and a half. Rodgers in with extra linemen. He's at running back. On 1st and goal, Falcons after the penalty. It is Jacquizz Rodgers. He goes nowhere. Starts plugging up the middle for Miami.
Two huge errors by this Miami team coming out here in the 3rd quarter. Obviously, the turnover with your back against your own end zone, and then a pass interference in the end zone, which puts it on the 1. They're not making it easy for themselves.
Snelling is checked in, the 7-year veteran who has the touchdown catch in the first half. Carroll looking on at 2nd and goal from the 1. Ryan has it. End zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Levine Toilolo, the rookie tight end from Stanford. His first NFL touchdown. You got to worry about Gonzalez. You got to worry about Julio Jones and Roddy White. Who would have thought Levine Toilolo would be the target?
And he came in motion from over here, and he's matched up on that guy right there, Jimmy Wilson. And just flashes outside. Jimmy Wilson lost leverage from the get-go, and a 6'8" Toilolo. I mean, look at the size mismatch. You got to be on point in terms of your coverage. Jimmy Wilson lost him from the get-go. And
plenty of time for Matt Ryan to survey the field. So the extra point and things flipped in a hurry here. Miami had the ball trailing by 3. Turnover. Falcons punch it in on another touchdown toss from Matt Ryan. And Atlanta with a lead in the third quarter, 20-10.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Chrysler, imported from Detroit. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Along with Tim Ryan, Jennifer Hale on the field, Chris Myers. And wherever you're watching, we appreciate you tuning in. The Falcons fighting hard with a 10-point lead. Bosher to kick off. And Marcus Thigpen, 9 yards deep in the end zone. Wisely this time just kneels to give the Dolphins the ball at the 20. There's a flag. Looks like a flag down.
Well, here's the touchdown by Toilolo. And I just want you to focus on Tony Gonzalez. 17 years, everyone thinks he's getting the ball in the red zone. His teammate gets it. And look at how fired up he is for the rookie Toilolo. Look at that smile on his face. Awesome.
There is no foul on the play. Result of the play is a touchback. 1st and 10.
Well, Tony Gonzalez, when I asked him this time about anything that would change your mind about retirement, he said, heck no, before I got the question out of my mouth.
No chance. I think he hung up on you, actually.
But over his...
Don't deny it.
That's right, he did. But he called back. If we said he's the best tight end in the history of the league, you couldn't argue it.
How could you argue it with all those numbers and the longevity? And what I said earlier, he's still winning games physically, which is amazing at 37 years old.
And now the Dolphins have to respond. Catch made by Brandon Gibson. And it was the first half passes going to Gonzalez with 4 catches that obviously had the Dolphin defense concerned. But now Tannehill has to get Miami moving.
I'll tell you the key with Tony Gonzalez. He said the last 5 years he has just kicked it up a notch in terms of his workout regimen in the gym 7 days a week.
Baby J.
And it shows.
2nd and 7. Pass is complete. That's Heitline. Weaving his way up to the 43-yard line. He came in with 14 catches, and he says this is the most talented Dolphin team he's been on in his 5th year from Ohio State.
Got a big contract, underrated, and he just runs that deep square in, and there's no way Thomas Deku could come up and get him, and then Deku misses the tackle and overruns it. I'm a big fan of Brian Hartline. Does a lot of dirty work over the middle of the field.
After a 20-yard gain, Daniel Thomas carries. You mentioned Deku, one of the Pro Bowl safeties with William Moore. And the young corners they drafted, Desmond Trufant and Robert Alford, on that Atlanta defense.
I'll tell you what's been a surprise to me so far in this game is it's been completely against the grain in terms of what was expected. Atlanta's had a pass rush. Miami has not.
At a frantic pace to this game. 2nd down 8. Tannehill's under pressure again and throws it away. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break.
Well, might the New York Jets continue to surprise? Geno Smith hangs in the pocket, hooks up with Stephen Hill for a 51-yard, touchdown. It's 14-6. Jets on top of the Bills just before halftime. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. New York's other team, the Giants, got blown out at Carolina. They're 0-3. The Jets are trying to go to 2-1.
And Rex Ryan's coaching again, and it shows.
On 3rd and 8. Pass is caught carefully by Rashard Matthews on the sideline for a 1st down Dolphins.
I like the call to where you're going to move Ryan Tannehill around a little bit. He's been sacked a couple of times, couple of fumbles, hasn't had great pocket awareness. Just roll him to one side, let him read half the field, and he delivers a nice ball for a 1st down.
At the 41 of Atlanta. After a 14-yard gain, Thomas the running back.
Go!
Hand it off.
And he does. Thomas trying to find some running room down to the 37-yard line. Akeem Dent in the middle, taking over the defensive signals with Sean Weatherspoon out, who hopes to be back later in the year for Atlanta. It'll bring up second down for the Dolphins.
Man, we have not seen a lot from Mike Wallace. I'd like to see him just take a shot with him on Asante Samuel, who came into this game with a thigh injury. See if Asante can open up that stride and run.
Fakes the handoff, pressure coming, and he goes down. Coming in from the corner blitz, Robert McClain, third sack for the Falcons.
Now this play's messed up from the get-go with Tannehill, who looks like he got blasted pretty good there by McClain. He trips coming out from under center. Watch Ryan Tannehill here. Looked like Incognito got him tangled up. And again, no pocket awareness. I mean, he is a young quarterback. Oh, it looked like Incognito just hit him shoulder to shoulder. He's got to see that. Hardline was sitting out in the flat all by himself.
Loss of 4. It's 3rd and 9. Is caught. That's Charles Clay, but short of the first down, and a tough decision here. William Moore was right with him for Joe Philbin. He's going to bring the kicking unit out. And it should be mentioned that Ryan Tannehill did hurt his shoulder in the third quarter of last week's win in Indianapolis. Missed a little bit of practice time, but when we met with him Friday at practice and he went the whole way, he said he was feeling fine. But he's getting beat up today.
Yeah, the problem's not his shoulder, it's his awareness. I mean, he looks good doing everything else, throwing the ball, all the mechanics, it all looks good, good command of the offense, but
50-yard field goal try from the rookie that Caleb Sturgis delivers. Miami within 7. You've heard about Jay and Dan on Fox Sports Live. The way they do highlights, it's entertaining. You'll be informed and entertained. Check them out on the postgame show as well. Tune in tonight at 11. Fox Sports 1. And to find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com.
Those dudes are hilarious, especially Jay. Hilarious.
Each field goal kicker is 2 for 2. And we have seen only one run back of a kickoff. So Matt Ryan, who has 2 touchdown passes in this game and 6 for the year, will take over on offense. 3rd overall pick of the NFL draft, rookie Deion Jordan out of Oregon for Miami is in the game. Only had 7 snaps last week. First down Atlanta from the 20. To Quiz Rogers. Cameron Wake has been bothered by a knee injury. Kolomisi also went to the locker room bothered by a knee as well.
Well, and they got a few of the backups out there right now. I think trying to preserve some energy and stamina for the fourth quarter. I mean, they've been on the field a lot in terms of the play opportunities for the Atlanta Falcons. So you got Shelby out there, you got Deion Jordan out there, you got Trusnick out there, you got Vaughn Martin out there. A lot of the backups right now. I think Deion Jordan, before it's all said and done, Chris, the rookie number 3 overall, he's going to be a great player. So many skill sets.
2nd and 7, Matt Ryan to Julio Jones, who has a first down across the 30. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for another game break.
The Seattle Seahawks have outscored their opponents 58-10 so far this season. Zach Miller's 2nd touchdown of the day put them ahead of Jacksonville 17-0. Next week on Fox, it's Houston and Seattle. I wonder who's doing that game, Chris and Tim.
Oh, I think Tim Ryan,
thank you, baby.
You plugged because you care. We appreciate that. We look forward to calling that game. And how about that Seahawks defense? They are incredible. Rodgers up across the 35. You know, Matt Ryan had told us that it's not that we're not finishing games strong. We need to sustain our drives in that midpoint of the game. We talked about how they start fast. So this is one of those midpoints. They have the lead, they have the ball, where that sustaining comes into play.
Absolutely, and I think that one thing that's helped them is the ability to be successful on the early downs today, running the ball. They've been a much better third and you know, marginal, if you will, the shorter down and distances on the third down. Like most teams, they get into 3rd and 6 plus, and they're going to struggle. That's been a problem a few times this year in the early part of the season. the pressure off the edge.
Here comes a flag on 2nd and 8.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
That's on Lamar Holmes, and the crowd here, 70,000 plus, had something to do with that.
And I think they're excited to do their part, and they did there. And I was just talking about 3rd down. Look at the difference league-wide. This is all of last year, the whole season. 3rd and 4 to 6, manageable. You saw the percentage, 3rd and 6 plus. It's an incredibly higher number.
Do the Dolphins bring extra heat on 2nd and 13?
And they're going to rush 4 and rally up and tackle.
They rush 4. Ryan has time, and it's incomplete. Harry Douglas was the target. It'll be 3rd and 13. Julio Jones has 6 catches in the game to lead Atlanta.
You think about this. Think about it. And even with great players, Julio Jones, Roddy White, all these guys. Look at how that number changes at 3rd and 6 plus. And then you get up here into the 3rd. Then you get up here into the 3rd and 13 range. And the playbook is sliced down by about 85%. Not a lot you can do.
Matt Ryan for Roddy White. Falling down. Did he hang on to the football?
Looks like they're going to give it to him.
It's going to be close to where the 1st down marker is. This might be one we want to take a look at. They're going to give him the 1st down with the catch. Dolphin players want a challenge here, and the Falcons are trying to hurry. And they showed it here, and it looked like it. You can tell by the fan reaction.
Now here's Roddy White on the end cut, and let's see here. It was hard to tell, but it looked like that ball definitely hit the ground and moved, but he did not have his hands completely under it. It looks like it's going to be an incompletion.
It was ruled a catch on the field. Joe Philbin challenges for Miami. He's 2 out of 2 so far in replay.
Yeah, I don't even think it was close, and I thought it should have been ruled properly on the field. That ball was on the ground, and Roddy White got up without it. Well, Miami's got to end up using a challenge here, and I think it's very, very clear it's no catch for Roddy White. You think of this drive, Harry Douglas dropped one, and Roddy White just dropped one. You see there, I mean, he never has his hands under it, does not have possession in terms of a firm grip with the hands or the arms before the ball forces, the ground forces the ball to move.
Ron White has had a closer look. Ron Winters, excuse me.
After review, the receiver did not maintain control of the ball. Therefore, an incomplete pass. Please reset the game clock to 6:53.
Mike Smith, his team forced to punt for the first time today, and Joe Philbin, when it comes to challenges this year, he's 3 out of 3. And Matt Bosher, who came in leading the NFL with about a 50-yard average, 49.9. There's Marcus Thigpen back to return.
Nobody says you can single press these gunners for Atlanta. They're really good players. Let's see how fast they get down there.
Anton Smith, Drew Davis, special team stars, and Bosher, a University of Miami product. Thigpen does have a punt return for a touchdown.
And they love Keith Armstrong, the special teams coach. He loves to angle punt with Bosher. He says, don't punt down the middle of the field. Punt to our gunners. In terms of punt it under those gunners, in terms of which way they're going to run. They're going to dial up a block here.
Everybody inside on the Dolphin kick team. Some pointing going on.
How about Bosher just throw it out to one of this guy here? I mean, that'd be a risky play, but it is wide open.
He's going to boot it away, and it's not a great kick. Drops inside the 40 and rolls out of bounds. There's a flag down back at the 22 of Atlanta. Atlanta's had 4 penalties. Miami just 1. Holding against the Falcons is the signal from our referee. It was only a 30-yard punt. Philbin can decide, I believe, to have this tacked on as opposed to it was such a poor kick. Why have him kick it again if you don't have to?
Man, I think that's what they're going to do.
Holding. Number 47 on the kicking team. That 10-yard penalty will be administered for the dead ball spot.
Yep.
So they'll tack it on. It'll put Miami in good field position. Josh Harris was the Falcon called for the infraction, and that Miami setup on the special teams seemed to rattle the Atlanta punt team. Dolphins football, they trail by 7. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download it now. That's
* NFL
Mobile and download and enjoy. Midfield. 1st and 10 for Miami after the penalty. They trail by 7. Lamar Miller is the back.
They got to get Charles Clay going here.
Pass for Hartline is incomplete. Clay only has 2 catches. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
If you thought the Seahawks were primed for a letdown against Jacksonville, no. That's Russell Wilson's 3rd touchdown pass in the first half to Sidney Rice. They lead at 24-0 at halftime. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Russell Wilson, part of that amazing rookie class as the Seahawks, one of those 7 undefeated teams like Miami here in week 3. And off inside to Miller. It'll bring up 3rd down.
I think a lot of people looked around the league going into today with some of the undefeated teams. In Houston, I know a lot of people thought collectively, certainly one of the best. They got shellacked against the Baltimore Ravens, and everyone looking at Seattle in the NFC, and they're just keeping pace. Their defense is just awesome. 5 points a game coming in and giving up nothing. That one against Jacksonville.
3rd and 7. Tannehill's been sacked 3 times in this game.
I'm telling you, they're playing man coverage on Charles Clay. They got to get him the football.
He's under pressure, and he dumps it to Matthews, and Rashard Matthews does a balancing act.
Saw this guy getting a lot of reps in practice, and just watch him break this tackle by Robert McClain. I mean, that's perfect. McClain gets his head in front, has issues wrapping up, and Rashard Matthews just bounces off of him right there and picks up a big 1st down.
You feel the swing in this game on 3rd down. Ronnie White couldn't make the catch on the low throw. Atlanta has to punt. 12-yard gain on 3rd down. They get the 1st down. Lamar Miller in motion. Tannehill incomplete for Brandon Gibson. Atlanta came out and took control of this game in the first half with time of possession and the number of plays, and it held on to it.
It's amazing it's still just a 7-point game.
There's Matt Ryan, who has a couple of touchdown tosses. Dolphin fans remember in 2008 when Bill Parcells was here, they drafted Jake Long first, passing on Matt Ryan, who, of course, went to Atlanta later.
He's going to turn and run it with these deep safeties. And here comes Deku creeping up into the running box.
Go!
And off Miller. And Atlanta did a nice job of stopping that. It'll bring up 3rd down and long. Ray Jerry.
That's a nice play by Ray Jerry. Yeah, he's playing against his brother John Jerry today, which is interesting. But here's what Ryan Tannehill is seeing. I mean, they got an 8-man running game, and Tannehill is seeing, well, it started with the safety here, and he was seeing him back, and then late, Deku crept up and really made it an 8-man front and makes it even, man on man. They end up stopping it for no gain.
On 3rd and 10, Mike Wallace has 1 catch in this game.
Charles Clay right there.
He's looking that way. It's intercepted. Picked off by William Moore. And Moore gets it back to the 35-yard line of Atlanta. Pressure was on Tannehill, and he overthrew his target.
Well, that's the whole thing. He just throws off of his back foot with pressure right in his face. Good push up in the pocket there. And he just overthrows Clay, who can't hang on to it, and that's perfect zone coverage sitting right behind for the tip pick.
Atlanta's second takeaway. William Moore, the Pro Bowl safety, with the interception. That's Atlanta's third interception of the year. They also had a fumble that they recovered earlier in this game, and Mike Smith's team has a 7-point lead and the football.
And look at that number, and they're +2 right now when they win the takeaway giveaway in terms of the turnover ratio. Miami can buck that trend and get a few turnovers of their own here in the remaining part of this game.
Matt Ryan backpedaling for Snelling, incomplete. The pressure was on from Olivier Vernon, who's been under a little pressure himself to perform better. With Cameron Wake injured, Koamisi bothered by shoulder injury in this game. The Dolphins already started without one of their top defensive backs, Dimitri Patterson, who has 2 interceptions, and of course Paul Soliai is missing. Atlanta missing their starting running backs, but they've held up okay. Rodgers as a receiver in the slot to the left of Matt Ryan. Roddy White, top of your screen. And Snelling to the right of Rodgers. On second down for Julio Jones. Incomplete. Double coverage from Rashad Jones and getting some help with Nolan Carroll.
Well, and Nolan Carroll, I mean, looked like he was going to get out jumped for this by Julio Jones. Right there's the matchup, who goes up and gets it. But watch Rashad Jones come over, bang, and knock the ball out late. Julio Jones couldn't hold on to it.
And now it's third down and 10.
We all know Tony Gonzalez is the guy on third down.
Extra pressure coming. Floats it for Douglas. Incomplete. That little defensive scheme worked for the Dolphins, and it'll be fourth down.
Yeah, I think the better matchup was Tony Gonzalez over the middle of the field, to be honest with you. Jimmy Wilson looks like he's got a bit of a hamstring there as he's pulling down on it. And there's the pressure coming right up inside. Wheeler on a pressure. Deion Jordan coming from one side. Vernon coming from the other. Matt Ryan should have kept his eyes on the middle of the field on Tony Gonzalez.
Matt Bosher this time after a 30-yard punt last time. They don't show pressure, but they're coming anyway, and he gets it away. Thigpen waving for the fair catch, and on the run has it inside the 29-yard line. We walk me up to our booth here. It's Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, Jennifer Hale down on the field. Well, the Dolphin defense has hung in there. The offense has to do its part if Miami's going to stay undefeated.
Yeah, I think a couple of things. I think here in the second half, you've seen Miami just simplify things on defense, and they've stopped the run certainly much better. Offensively, Ryan Tannehill's just got to be a better decision maker in terms of getting the ball out on time. It's amazing that it's still just a 7-point game when you look at time of possession and all the play opportunities for Atlanta and their high-flying offense.
I'm surprised Miami hasn't been able to get the ball to Mike Wallace more, especially with Asante Samuel coming off that thigh injury.
Black Queen!
Well, they haven't even tested him yet with the deep ball. I mean, I would get Mike Wallace on his horse and see if Asante can really open up that stride.
Daniel Thomas to the 40, but there's a flag down back at the 30. Miami holding. That's the initial signal.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's on John Jerry. Wonder if his brother. They're the two youngest of 7 brothers in the family, and this is the first time they're playing in an NFL game head-to-head against each other, at least a regular season
and there's
game.
John Jerry there, and there's Big Bro. Parade Jerry.
What's wrong with hugging your brother?
Yeah.
I guess when you're on a football field, that's not a good thing. Now 1st and 20, backs up Miami to the 19.
Rocco. Roll. Rocco. Yeah.
Tannehill goes down at the 10-yard line. He held it, and Akeem Dent came in and grabbed him.
And this is exactly what Indianapolis did last week when they got into the second half, is they just started sending pressure, and Ryan Tannehill, without the awareness and the offensive line, and it's going to come right here, Dent up to the inside. Incognito squeezes down, and then now for the second week in a row, Daniel Thomas has been destroyed as a pass protector. you've got to do better than that. If you can't take the guy up top and hold your block, you better think about chopping him and getting down low. That was too easy for Akeem Dent.
And again, this is a defense without Sean Weatherspoon, without Croy Bierman, part of those starters that were injured last week.
And they have flipped the script in terms of pass rush on what was expected.
On 2nd and 28, Charles Clay wrapped up inside the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long. One of those rookie corners from Atlanta, Robert McClain.
Tell you what, I mean, you get a penalty on John Jerry, and then you get the big sack, and the hidden yardage in the field position is just going by the wayside for Miami.
McClain, who's a 4-year veteran, Trufant and Alford, the rookie corners, wanted to correct that, but McClain's the guy who's hurting here, who made the play for Atlanta. On 3rd down and 24 from the Miami 15-yard line, this Atlanta defense has kept Tannehill to 140 yards passing. They've taken away a fumble, they've had an interception, and they've sacked him 4 times. We certainly hope that it's nothing serious for McClain. This team has seen enough injuries to last a season.
And here's McClain here on the tackle on Clay. Oh yeah, you see his left knee. It just got caught up underneath him as he was trying to come back and change direction. And his left leg just was in an awkward position underneath his body and contorted in a funky way.
Head coach Mike Smith, you talk about Rich McKay in the front office, Thomas Dimitroff. They draft and try to bring players in that they think will fit with their team and at some point be ready to play. They said we just had to rush guys in a little sooner with the rash of injuries that have hit us by week 3, and they've held up today.
I think one thing they're so smart at is forecasting and trying to predict and giving guys situations in the preseason.
There is Mike Wallace underneath, and a swarm of Falcons knock him down at the 25-yard line. That's only his 2nd catch of the game, and it's going to be 4th down for Miami.
Well, Wallace has had a slow day, as have the other receivers here for Miami. But you look at last week, a breakout performance by him. And what I love about Mike Wallace is everyone just talks about him as a go route guy. Deep, run the go route, take off, run by everybody. He's so much more than that in terms of all the underneath stuff that he's capable of doing.
There's Brandon Fields. Yeah, Mike Wallace, the big free agent signee from Pittsburgh, and he had 1 catch after week 1. He just met with the coaches. He was targeted 12 times last week. Harry Douglas says get away from it, and then he picks it up. And knocked down hard at the 20-yard line. The ball came out. Did he get it back?
Boy, what a vicious hit by Jones.
Don Jones came in hard on Douglas.
Looks like they're going to give it to Miami.
Dolphins football. John Denny, the long snapper who is an Ironman here, setting the franchise record in terms of consecutive games for Miami with a big play.
A huge hit by Jones. That ball comes out. Now, Denny doesn't get it first, but I've been on the bottom of those piles, and the guy who starts with it is not necessarily the guy who ends up with it, and Denny just steals it from the Atlanta player.
And John Denny, his 131st consecutive game as a Dolphin, passes Jason Taylor.
Well, it looked like Thomas Deku had that initially, the safety, and I think Denny at the bottom of the pile just ripped it from him.
Take it.
A long snapper says, snap to the Falcons.
Go!
Lamar Miller knocked out inside the 18. Now, he's from the University of Miami, also from the city of Miami, and the NFL releasing stats this week, Tim, the top 2 high schools that have the most current NFL players in the league, 6 each. Miami Norland High, which is nearby here in Dade County, and St. Thomas, where Michael Irvin went to school here in Broward County, and the #1 state producing the most players currently in the NFL, California, but the state of Florida was second on that list.
There's great football in this state. I know my son has come out and played in that Super Bowl of youth football, and it matched up a few of those Florida teams and just got waxed.
2nd down 9 for Lamar Miller, and knocked away.
Well, you got to catch that if you're Lamar Miller.
Jocko Bartu, the linebacker, ran over there, the free agent from Texas State.
I don't know if Bartu got a hand on it. It's right over his ear hole. Yeah, he did. He put his hands up at the right time, never saw it, and deflected that ball. So that's not on Lamar Miller. That's just a great play by Bartu.
And Bartu did a good job last week when pressed into duty. At Texas State, he played defensive end. He had a chance to play at Northwestern, but wanted to play where his brother played college and went to Texas State, and thus was not drafted. On third down, Tannehill, end zone, wide open. Touchdown, Dolphins. Brian Hartline.
You watch Trufant. He stays up shallow to the flat route. Safety does not get over the top fast enough. Thomas Deku. Tannehill sees it, throws a laser. Terrific adjustment by Brian Hartline, who really had to spin his body back around the other way to catch that football. Well done.
The extra point by Sturgis. We are tied at 20. 56 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Falcons have had the upper hand. And it all began on the botched punt. And you saw Harry Douglas taking responsibility.
Yeah, more than a botch. How about Jones knocking it out? This is where Tannehill looks great. Standing tall in the pocket. I mean, that's a cover 2 defense where if something flashes to the flat, the corner's got to go that way. Safety's got to get over the top. And they just make them pay. That was beautiful.
Talk about a young quarterback coming of age. We still have a quarter to go, but Tannehill has been knocked down. He's fumbled. He's thrown an interception. But the touchdown toss has his team, his undefeated team, in a tie game. 18 yards to Brian Hartline. Hartline sat with us after Friday's practice and talked about the talent on this team and how his quarterback has grown leaps and bounds in one season.
I also think it's hard to really game plan against these guys. I mean, all of those receivers, and I think Coach O'Keefe does a good job at training them, is they're all interchangeable. I mean, Hartline could be out at the split end spot one play. He can be at the flanker spot on another play. He can be in the slot. They're all interchangeable.
Jaquiz Rogers hoping to give the Falcons a lift. And he'll take it out of the end zone. Matt Ryan will lead the offense from the 20-yard line. The NFL and all 32 teams are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Visit NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage to hear the personal stories of Hispanic players in the NFL. One of those proud of their heritage, Matt Moore of the Dolphins, and Tony Gonzalez, the Hall of Fame to be tight end of Atlanta. Sustaining the lead, sustaining drives. That's what Matt Ryan talked about with Hartline trying to lead this crowd. He's got to calm things down for the Falcons. Jaquiz Rogers. And a big run for 6.5 yards.
I'm telling you, they don't need to stunt their front with their defensive line. They're good enough to play it straight up. And what they're doing, Chris, is they're opening up creases and running lanes for the running back. Watch Audric is going to fire in there, and look at the running lane. It's going to open up.
When you're saying stunt, you're saying just stay where you are and go forward. Don't loop around.
Yeah, and you see Audric goes flying in there. Actually, it was a down block and a pretty good one. But you really just need to play your keys up front. You don't need to trick anybody. You just need to beat them physically.
Rogers again gets near the 30-yard line. The Falcon team has run for over 100 yards today. The combination of Jaquiz Rogers and Jason Snelling. We have a player slow to get up, a member of the Dolphins, Donnell Ellerby, is in pain. McClain left a little while ago injured for Atlanta. It is not a first down at the 29-yard line. It will be 3rd and 1 for the Falcons. 10 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Steven Jackson, one of those 5 starters, injured within a 1-week span. 3 on offense, 2 on defense, some reserves also. And Miami missing some starters on defense.
It's amazing the injuries this year, isn't it? I mean, league-wide, around the league.
You wonder how much that has to do with the lighter practice schedule, the bargaining agreement, as he's going to walk off wincing, but at least he's moving himself off the field.
It is third down and 1 from the 20-yard.
Third down and 1.
And as good as Atlanta was in the first half, they got the clock running here. They're going to have to use the timeout. No, it's
the end of the quarter. It's all right. No timeout needed. At the end of 3 quarters, Falcons facing a 3rd and short in a tie game.
9 Miami, el saque, Tannehill, formación escopeta, tiene tiempo, lanza la zona, touchdown! Brian Hartline, 18 yardas.
Ronald Stryker Jr. and Joaquin Duro calling the radio broadcast. Of course, for the Dolphins, Jimmy Cephalo, Hall of Famer Bob Greasy. And enjoying a tie game as we begin the 4th quarter. We're just down the street from Chaminade Madonna in Hollywood, Florida, between Fort Lauderdale and Miami, where this South Florida crowd is buzzing.
Well, this is your old neighborhood, man. You know everything about this place.
3rd and 1. It's Rodgers, and he has the first down for Atlanta. Checking the numbers through 3 quarters. Those turnovers big, but especially the one Miami just came up with to make the short field and the tying touchdown.
I tell you, shocked at the 110 yards rushing, and it was certainly much better in the first half for Atlanta in the second half. But let's also give Miami defense some credit. Matt Ryan completing 18 of 26 passes, only 138 yards.
First and 10, Matt Ryan sets up to throw. High, but what a catch, hauled in by Julio Jones.
I don't know what Nolan Carroll was thinking. It was almost like he was just paralyzed watching Julio Jones right in front of him, and he just sat there and waited for him to go up and catch it. Never made a play on the ball.
Matt Ryan has a terrific road record. He has a terrific record against AFC opponents, taking the hit. He has not been sacked today.
I'll tell you who else has been great on the road is Julio Jones. Better on the road than in the dome. Surprising.
7 catches for Julio Jones in this game. Ryan with time, and incomplete for Ronnie White. Good coverage over there by Brent Grimes, the former Falcon, who said, every receiver is taller than me. He's listed at 5'10".
No way.
I doubt it.
No way. And I was talking to Roddy about Grimes before the game, and I said, tell me what you got to do on him. And he said, he's a guy you got to play with your body. I mean, if he can play off and just bend and drive on the football, he's got you. So his whole game, in order to be successful on Grimes, is to try to use his body almost like a basketball player posting up so you can feel him on you.
On 2nd down 10. This is Snelling. It'll be 3rd down. You talk about the former Falcon, Brent Grimes, who came from the Philadelphia Public School playground to the Pro Bowl. Now, Jen Hale, our reporter, is 5'5" officially.
She's got heels on. She's got to have heels on.
And we're not picking on anybody here. This is just in the interest of accuracy.
Hey, he may be short, but he's not small.
And that's what Mike Smith said about his former corner. A 1-year deal in Miami. He says he wants to stay here a long time. He preserved the win last week with an interception for the Dolphins.
Sure did, in the end zone.
On 3rd and 4. In the clear is Snelling. Can he get the first down? He does, and he's inside Dolphin territory. Way out of the 15 of Miami.
Told you, Jason Snelling just always makes plays, and in the fear of Tony Gonzalez, watch here. You're going to have a defender on him there and a defender on him there.
First and 10, 15.
And there's no way, a nice little pick play, there's no way Wheeler could get out there on time for Jason Snelling.
A 34-yard gain. And that's what Mike Smith said. Whenever he's out there, he makes plays. And Matt Ryan felt comfortable with him. You know, this is his 6th season. And Snelling was here a year before Ryan got here.
Say what you want about Steven Jackson. Snelling knows the offense much better.
From the 15, Ryan floats one for the end zone over the head of Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez, part of Hispanic Heritage Month. As we mentioned, that's why we played that radio call moments ago on WQBA, 1140 a.m. here in South Florida.
I love the English language, obviously, but, man, it's exciting in Spanish, isn't it?
Even a 2nd down and 1.
Absolutely.
And now 2nd and 10 for the Falcons from the 15-yard line. Matt Ryan, 20 out of 30. He already has a couple of touchdown tosses. Rodgers is the back. Roddy White and Julio Jones go to the bottom of your screen, the right side of Matt Ryan. We're going to have a timeout. Dolphins didn't like that. And Miami will have 2 timeouts remaining.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by United Airlines, the world's most flyer-friendly airline. United, fly the friendly skies.
Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. And Matt Ryan facing a 2nd down and 10 from the 15. So you want to come away with points no matter what here, because we have, as you see the time, just under 12 minutes remaining if you're the Falcons.
I'd love to see him just throw up a fade route to Julio Jones. He's on Brent Grimes, and Grimes can make a lot of plays, but this is 6'3" against 5'9".
3 receivers on the right side. He's going that way, and out of bounds for Harry Douglas.
Grimes didn't take the bait. They ran a little bubble screen to Julio Jones in terms of the action, and he jumped back. And Grimes just never took the bait, and he got back deep enough. And what they were trying to do is pull those defenders up on Julio Jones on the fake screen look, and then get Harry Douglas open to the corner of the end zone. Well done by Miami, not biting the cheese.
10th play of the drive. It's now 3rd and 10. Ryan on the move. Throws it away. The Dolphin defense digs in. Rookie Deion Jordan helping to force a field goal try.
And I also think good initial pressure from Jared Odrick right here as Matt Ryan looks out to the right and wants to throw this ball, and then feels the pressure of Odrick and gets flushed. And once he got flushed, it was a good job by the defenders of the Dolphins, plastering up, looking for work, trying to get on those receivers. No one for Matt Ryan to throw to.
So now Matt Bryant, who is 2 for 2, will line up for a 33-yard field goal try. Recently moved to 3rd on the all-time Falcons scoring list. Reliable in this range. The kick, and Atlanta takes the lead. The Falcons scored a touchdown on their opening possession. They've cooled off a bit, but they lead it by 3. Falcons take the lead on Matt Bryant's field goal. He's 3 for 3 today. Caleb Sturgis has made a couple for Miami. 11:39 to play. And Matt Bosher ready to kick off with Marcus Thigpen back to receive. Asante Samuel toughing it out with that thigh injury yet to be tested downfield by Miami. Dolphins will take over on the 20-yard line. Tomorrow on Fox Football Daily, the guys will be joined, Howie Long and John Lynch, and they go over all the NFL action. Look at that Raider-Bronco game. Actually, John Fox will be joining him as well. They'll recap college football action. It's a great show. Tim Ryan, I know you've been on there during the week. Catch Fox Football Daily weeknights only at Fox Sports 1, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Jay Glazer has all the breaking news, hosted by Kurt Menefee.
All the nuggets. I think you're going to join us on Wednesday, aren't you?
I'll be out there and talking about college football. The guy who replaced Tannehill at Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel, having some big numbers again this weekend. Tannehill from the pocket for Hartline and nearly intercepted. Desmond Trufant, the rookie from Washington, making the play.
Tannehill's just not seeing it as quick today. He really isn't. And that's only their 39th play opportunity. But you watch him in the first 2 weeks, and he gets to that back foot. He's read the coverage. It's coming out quick. Here with the play action, he takes his eyes off the coverage. And the ball just comes out late, and Trufant had an opportunity to make a good break on it.
Daniel Thomas hit it running back on second down. That's Wallace in motion. They fake to him. Thomas, it'll go nowhere. Third down and long. I'm surprised that the Atlanta pass rush has been effective as it's been. I don't know if that's a comment on the offensive line of the Dolphins or what Atlanta's doing up front.
I think a couple of things. I think Osi Umenyiora has still got more gas left in the tank than people realized. And they've had some pretty good pressures coming off the edge. Watch here, John Jerry is going to get stood up by Big Bro Parade Jerry, who ends up really being the guy that stacks this run game up. And once your guard gets pushed back into the backfield like that, other guys are going to be able to slide in and make the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
On third down and 7, Tannehill is going to go down again.
And those are the pressures I'm talking about. That's number 5.
And that's where this game is going to be won or lost at the end of the day. 5 sacks. Tannehill buried under that rush, led by Joplo Bartu blitzing.
Yep, and Dent coming up on the other side. And there's Daniel Thomas once again, actually picks him up, and then Bartu on the other side gets cleared. I'll tell you, Bartu's a good player. You lose a guy like Sean Witherspoon, you don't expect his backup to come in and play great. And you know, Bartu not even close to the player of Witherspoon, but I've been impressed in watching him the last couple of weeks, certainly since he's gotten the opportunity.
A great sign by the Falcons and a good boot by Fields. Here's a penalty flag. Harry Douglas from the 30. He gets up to the 42-yard line. A 55-yard punt and a 12-yard return. Holding the call. Atlanta already with 5 penalties.
During the kick, holding, number 28 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
That call on Thomas Deku.
And there's Deku on Jones right there. And
those were the 2 on the fumble the last time they got into it.
Today's game is sponsored by Toyota Care.
Dolphins home opener, trying to go to 3-0. Atlanta trying to get to 2-1. Now the Saints in the NFC South, they've already won, so they're 3-0. Tampa Bay is 0-3. And the Carolina Panthers won their first game of the year. The Dolphins are chasing the Patriots in the AFC East. New England won, so they are 3-0. The Jets are leading Buffalo at this moment. And now the field position game at a 3-point game.
No doubt.
At the 19-yard line of Atlanta.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to keep Atlanta, you know, on this side of the field and force a punt, so you do get your field position back, win that part of the game. But look, defensively, number one, they're going to have to shut down the run, which has been a problem. They've been better in the second half. But on these passing downs, they've got to get some pressure on Matt Ryan.
The pitch to Jason Snelling. There's a flag down, and he loses a yard. Snelling has averaged 5 yards a carry today. Looks like a hold. Lamar Holmes having trouble getting up.
Tell you what, Jared Odrick's starting to roll here late in this game.
Holding. Offense number 88. Penalized half the distance to the goal. Repeat, first down.
That's on Tony Gonzalez. And these penalties are hurting the Falcons.
And there's Tony lined up right here. And he's going to grab Olivier Vernon, and he is just going to slam him to the ground.
So now at the 9-yard line, that field position discussion just got a little more interesting on 1st and 20.
See what the rookie's got over here. Deion Jordan.
The little screen to Snelling. And the Dolphins were on top of that. I mentioned the division that the Falcons are in. Drew Brees with a touchdown run and 3 touchdown passes. Cam Newton gets the Panthers their first win of the year over the Giants, and the Buccaneers, Greg Schiano, 0-3. So Falcons can secure that second spot in the division at the moment if they can win today. Time for Ryan, and right on target is Julio Jones. First down up across the 40-yard line.
Well, that's just such a great play call and better execution versus this defense. It's a zone pressure, which they're bringing it from the other side. And Deion Jordan goes into coverage, and Matt Ryan just waits for it to clear and just throws an absolute laser to Julio Jones in front of the corner, Nolan Carroll.
He's 6'3". He runs like a track star all the way up to the 41-yard line. That was a 28-yard gain. And notice, Tim, a lot of these big plays, they're not in the area of Brent Grimes. They're on the other side, the other corner.
Yeah, they are picking on Nolan Carroll today.
Over 100 yards for Julio Jones, actually right at that mark. And Rodgers doesn't go down and gets 3 or 4 yards out of it.
Well, he has been slippery all day. Chris Clemens had him locked up right there in the backfield. Sometimes those smaller guys, I mean, you go to tackle them. Maurice Jones-Drew is a great example. I mean, you go to tackle them, and it's shoulder pads and knee pads. Well, what else are you going to grab?
He's in that 5'8", 5'9" range is Jacquizz Rodgers. And without Steven Jackson, no more Michael Turner in Atlanta. Rodgers and Snelling have carried the load well today. On 2nd and 7. Pressure coming. Ryan lets it go for Julio Jones at the 41 of Miami. He's unstoppable.
Well, he is, especially when Matt Ryan is not even getting touched. And we just talked about Jacquizz Rodgers on the run and being slippery. Watch this blitz pickup right here from the 5'8" running back. Once the pressure come off the edge, bang, right there, and he lights up. I believe it was Nolan Carroll, which frees up Matt Ryan just to go through the whole progression and make one hitch and throw the ball, and another perfectly thrown ball to Julio Jones.
They list Rodgers at 5'6". We're going to give him a little more height than that as he carries here, and there he goes. Jacquizz Rodgers. However tall he is, he came up big there. Down to the 22-yard line of Miami.
Chris Clemens is going to be embarrassed when he watches the tape here. Good blocks up front, first of all. Good double team. Good job by Blaylock. Watch this move. I mean, oh my goodness. You come up on a guy like that, and Clemens tried to break down, but Rodgers just shook him down.
Clemens playing with a bad hamstring. He missed some practice during the week. 18-yard run on first down. This time it's Snelling. He falls down inside the 20-yard line, chewing up the clock and moving already in field goal range, and a touchdown would be a knockout punch. A career-high rushing day for Jacquizz Rodgers in his 3rd year from Oregon State. 5th-round draft pick back in 2011. Snelling tackled, but he got 3 yards out of it. Randy Starks had to hang on to him.
These guys just aren't going down easy.
Extra effort and getting extra yards.
Absolutely. And that's all about the yak right there. Yards after contact, and a big defensive lineman, Randy Starks, has Snelling in the backfield, and he carries him for 3.
3rd down and 4.
Now this is critical. Miami's got to get a stop here.
Timeout, Miami. The Dolphins will have 1 timeout remaining. Mike Smith said they wanted some balance. They couldn't become a one-dimensional passing team, even though we know it's a passing league.
And look at today. versus the first two games where they're about 74-75% pass. And they have found it, and without their stud, Steven Jackson. I give a lot of credit to Pat Hill, the offensive line coach. They've done a good job up front.
They're averaging 4.9 yards a carry on the ground against a very good Dolphin defense. And some of the runs today, they've been tough runs, whether it's been Jaquiz Rogers or Jason Snelling.
Well, I think the thing that I see is guys are getting hit, and they're able to, I mean, that time Snelling didn't get hit, but they're running after contact. They're running through arm tackles.
Blitz coming. Ryan gets away and gets rid of it. But it's fourth down. Jimmy Wilson came late.
Well, they had a couple of guys that had a chance to get Matt Ryan sacked and on the ground, and Matt's not the most fleet of foot in terms of his athleticism. They can't get him on the ground, which certainly would have made a field goal opportunity more difficult than where it's going to be now.
Matt Bryant, who is 3 for 3, will try to make it a 6-point advantage. This will be a 35-yard field goal try, and you see he's been on a tear. 16 straight made.
And that's the thing with this Miami defense. I think it's missed tackles and lack of pressure on the quarterback has been the problem today.
The kick. He missed it. He missed it. Atlanta still leads by 3, but missed a golden opportunity. Falcons were 10 yards away from a Super Bowl 8 months ago. Miami trying to go 3-0 for the first time in more than a decade. Trailing by 3, Tannehill to Lamar Miller. Nice job by the Atlanta defense.
They're going to have to get the tempo cranked up here and be judicious in some of their play calling. Only one timeout left for Miami here with 4.5 minutes to go. I like what they're doing here, calling the game at the line of scrimmage.
But you got to move it along as that clock is rolling. Miller remains the back. He has breakaway speed. Is held on to by Rashard Matthews, who has more catches in this game than Mike Wallace.
You got to like the ball placement there from Tannehill. That's the old classic West Coast slant to the split end, and you just keep that ball location down and inside. It's perfect.
But it's third down. Wallace goes to the top of your screen. Asante Samuel covering him for Atlanta. From the pocket, pass is caught across the 40. It's Matthews again for a Dolphin first down.
And Ryan Tannehill, just another laser, that ball placement perfect. And that was risky now because I'm telling you, he had Charles Clay wide open in the flat. Nobody was on him. Instead, he takes to the shot to the middle of the field with that slant again.
Ryan, 55, Roy. Hey, Ryan, 59. Hey, triple.
I got to play off coverage. I'll keep throwing that slant.
Deep drop from the Falcons secondary. Pass, sideline overthrown. Brandon Gibson there. Hardline and Matthews each have 4 catches. Mike Wallace has just 2. Rashard Matthews, a 7th-round draft pick in his second year out of Nevada, but Hardline the big touchdown catch, which tied the game. Now the Dolphins trail by 3 with just over 3 to go and 1 timeout.
They got a shot here on Wallace in man coverage if they want to take it. There's Mike Wallace on McLean right there.
And William Moore is out of your picture. The safety is all the way back at the 32-yard line of Atlanta. Quick throw, complete. That's Michael Agnew, the reserve tight end.
My apologies. That was Matthews that was lined up down here in the slot. Agnew, you can see he is a big-bodied guy.
It's going to be 3rd down and 2 at the 49-yard line of Atlanta. Are we in? As you see Gibson go to the top of the screen with Mike Wallace.
Yeah, this is, to me, this is 4-down territory. You got to keep going. Charles Clay, haven't seen enough of him today.
Pressure coming late, pass complete for the first down. It's Gibson. Clock running, one timeout. Tannehill says, let's go.
When Tannehill knows where he's going pre-snap, Chris, I mean, it all looks great. Stands tall in the pocket. The throwing mechanics are all perfect. The accuracy is outstanding. And he read that right away. He's got man coverage, option route for Brandon Gibson, runs a quick out, and he finds him with a perfect throw.
He's over 200 yards passing, 39-yard line of Atlanta. On first down, that's Lamar Miller straight ahead. Now the Dolphins can play this. Of course, Atlanta has 3 timeouts. We either finish it with 3 to tie or we get a touchdown and win it, but don't let Atlanta have it back if we can help.
Absolutely not.
And Joe Philbin will take it to the 2-minute warning with his remaining timeout. The Dolphins trail by 3. 2 minutes remaining here in South Florida, but Miami has the football. Mike Smith and his Falcons trying to stay within a game of the unbeaten Saints in the NFC South, and Joe Philbin wants to stay undefeated and be neck and neck with the Patriots at 3-0 in the AFC East. Those games are over.
4 down.
It's second down here.
Hey, 59 lead. Leo.
He needs 4 for a first down. Sideline floater. Incomplete for Lamar Miller, who might have been in the end zone if he held on.
Well, they had him matched up on a defensive lineman, Massaquoi, and Miller looks like he just loses sight of this. I mean, the ball was flat, and maybe he couldn't see it trying to look through Massaquoi and maybe a little more arc on it. But that, look, you got to catch that ball. That's a touchdown and a game winner if you do, probably.
Right now, it's 3rd down and 4. You're looking, if they gain nothing, at a 51-yard field goal try from your rookie kicker, Caleb Sturgis.
Man, what a missed opportunity.
Lee.
Time in the pocket, open and caught. Brandon Gibson, he stays in and then dances out of bounds.
Well, you got to love that. How about the awareness?
He got the first down.
Getting the first down before he got out of bounds, because he was right on the strike. Not to mention a terrific catch, really stretching out to go get it. I mean, look at that, right on the fingertip, bobbles it, now realizes, okay, I'm going to get knocked out of bounds, but before I go out to stop the clock, let me pick up the first down.
An under-the-radar free agent signing from the Rams. More receptions than Mike Wallace, the big prize free agent from the Steelers today. First down from the 29 of Atlanta. Charles Clay dropped it.
Now you can see Charles Clay turn his head to look at the defender before he looked the ball in, and he knows it.
On second down and 10, Atlanta backing up, giving a lot of room to the receivers of Miami.
You can see Clay right there just spins his head to look at the defender, and McClain converging on him before he really captured that football.
Right here, hey, y'all fan over there. Hey, 4 down. Hey, lead it 59.
For Clay, he has it. He gave himself up after he caught the football. He probably could have gotten up and run in the end zone. I don't know if he got touched by anybody.
That is such a terrific throw from Ryan Tannehill, and he gets good protection. Lamar Miller stepped up. Mike Nolan called one of those inside linebacker blitzes. Lamar Miller saw it, stepped up. Yeah, he was touched right there.
Okay.
Well, Lamar Miller really was the guy with the pass protection that gave him the opportunity to drive that one down the seam for Tannehill.
A 21-yard gain. It's first and goal, Dolphins.
59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59. 59
Underneath to Gibson. He fights off a tackler at the goal line. What an additional effort from Brandon Gibson. And his quarterback appreciates it. The Falcons call time.
Let him spin back inside. Now sensing I can get this ball in the end zone. Risky putting it out there. No Atlanta Falcons slapped it loose. And he pulls it back and goes down at about the half-yard line. I think he realized right there, oh, I'm not fast. I better pull this baby back. Smart. A couple of really heads-up plays by Brandon Gibson here late in the game.
With his 6th catch, Tim, he is the Dolphins' leading receiver today. Julio Jones has 9 catches, 115 yards for Atlanta. But what a drive from second-year quarterback Ryan Tannehill with the game on the line. Now 2nd and goal from the 1.
And finally, when Miami needed it most, they've been able to pass protect.
Now they have 1 timeout remaining. Tannehill has a touchdown pass. Daniel Thomas has a touchdown run.
Send the message and pound it in.
Lamar Miller is the back. And he splits out as a receiver. Tannehill floats it. Touchdown Dolphins! Deion Sims.
Run the whole way. Deion Sims blocks down, then releases, gets held by Stephen Nicholas, and makes a great one-hand catch over the shoulder.
Tannehill calm in that drive, and that is the first career touchdown catch for the rookie from Michigan State, Deion Sims. And with this extra point from Sturgis, it'll give the Dolphins a 4-point lead.
Wow.
With 38 seconds left.
What a drive. Look at Sims blocking down in there. Now Nicholas realizes, oh my goodness, he's going out, grabbed onto him. A terrific throw, and then the one-hander.
And Lamar Miller splitting out as a receiver seemed to throw off the Atlanta secondary. Tannehill, he's been sacked 5 times. Fumbled, threw an interception, but 2 touchdown passes in the second half, and his team is up by 4.
And let's remember, one of those sacks and the lost fumble to start the half was Deion Sims whipping on Yossi Umenyiora. He just made up for that with what may be the game winner.
After 4 losing seasons in Miami, Tannehill and Philbin arrived last year. They go 7-9.
Here's the number we all need to think about.
Now they're 3-0 if they can hang on with 38 seconds left.
If they can hang on and go to 3-0. Chris, you do that, the numbers will tell you in this league you've got a 75% chance of making the playoffs.
Matt Ryan will have a chance. 2 timeouts for Atlanta. He has proved worthy of coming back. Game-winning drives, whether it be in the regular season or postseason. The problem here is a field goal doesn't help you.
That's right. And they needed a touchdown against San Francisco last year in the playoffs. They needed a touchdown versus New Orleans in week 1, and they had been unable to get it.
Second down. 33 seconds remaining.
Yeah, this wasn't a good throw from Matt Ryan. Looking to his big stud, Julio Jones. That just came out funny. Julio was cutting inside, and Matt threw it outside.
intercepted. A Dolphin takeaway. Jimmy Wilson.
Well, Matt Ryan just throws up a prayer under huge pressure. And here's the pressure on Matt Ryan. Deion Jordan, the number 3 overall pick, the rookie. There was a few guys converging on Matt Ryan, and he just throws it up, and it's going to be a game winner for Jimmy Wilson.
All right, they get the Atlanta Falcons, get the Patriots on Sunday night. The Dolphins, a week from Monday night, play at New Orleans. And a 3-0 start for the Dolphins. You've talked about it. It's the first time this franchise has gotten off to that kind of start since 2002. And for Matt Ryan, a guy who's won 57 games in his 6 seasons, telling us we're not the team we want to be yet. They hung in there despite the injuries and lose a close one as Ryan Tannehill puts his signature on this Dolphin victory.
And look, the Miami Dolphins, I mean, they have been lying cautiously optimistic in the weeds about this football team and excited. I think now after you beat an elite franchise and an elite football team like the Atlanta Falcons, and they are, even with their injuries with Matt Ryan, now they've got an opportunity for real excitement. That buzz is going to continue to grow.
We'll have more from South Florida, where the Dolphins have defeated the Falcons 27-23. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. More in a moment.